regular segment this time. The last 2 times I did pay-per-view reviews, so we're back on regular schedule programming. I know we don't have that man over there at Collision, but we're still going to keep the same format. It's still going to be the verses, but we don't have to take it as serious, but it's still like which show was better, but on some fun shit now. Since he's not there, it doesn't feel like a battlefield anymore. So it's still going to be the same format. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Shout out to Hook 'em Horns. Texas did the fucking job. Cowboys did the fucking job. If your team did score 40, you can't say nothing to me. There was a lot of ass whooping going on. Hey, Sean. Hey, Kim. Yes, y'all. Drip is back home. I pulled his ear to come tonight. Yes. Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. It's again, if people don't know me, I'm Davis, or Drip, depending on how you know me, but mainly Davis these days. I've been on the show numerous times in the past, started out on the show, so I'm happy to be back. It's been a while. The last time I was on, I think, is when I did the wardrobe change halfway through the episode, which Penta copied later on in at All In. So I guess I'm a trendsetter in this game after all. So.
Oh my God. Yes. He's back on the show. As he said, he's only guesting, but we'll see him a few times sometime. But yeah, we're gonna get into some looking good. Look at Ken. Looking good, Drew. So yes, we're gonna get into some things. We're gonna get into Dynamite, of course, Collision, Rampage. We're gonna get into Grand Slam. We're gonna talk about Bryan Danielson. And of course, tonight, like I have been promoting tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the awards that it is coming up. 2023 is moving fast. And tonight, I'm going to announce the recipient for my Keeks Lifetime Achievement Award. It will be announced tonight, excuse me. So we can get into that thing. So we're going to get started. Let me pull out my notes. Y'all know I got my little notes, handy dandy notebook. So we're going to pop off with, of course, Dynamite Collision, same format, how it goes. The openings you had opened up now. For Dynamite, it's 2 parts. So the first one, it was opening with freshly squeezed himself, Mr. Orange Cassidy. He came out to kick off the show. He's bruised up, bandaged up, and just letting it be known that he's here to stay and he's not going nowhere. And I'm Orange Cassidy. I don't have a catchphrase. And then, of course, Moxley music came on, and it was getting ready for the Moxley versus AR Fox, which was opening up the match. But Orange Cassidy did his last look back at him while Moxley was in the ring. And then, of course, on Collision's end, the opener for that again was Moxley for the AEW International Championship. It was Moxley versus Action Andrade. So Dynamite. What did you think of the segment and also the match?
I enjoyed the segment. Again, Orange Cassidy has shown everyone, not me, because I already knew that he's the best wrestler in the world. And he's won people over with his promo ability the last year because he's improved in that aspect, talking a lot more in backstage promos. And now he rarely talks to the crowd. And that's something he's done really in the last couple of months, which is why those moments where he snatches a microphone have been such a big deal. Because it's like he's got something to say. So for him to say he's not going anywhere, which we all thought he would, considering he had, 31 title defenses, he's taped up. Every match, he told a story about how his hand didn't work, his neck was bad, his back was bad, this and all that. But saying he's going to stick around and keep wrestling. Apparently, if you're the workhorse in this company, you get no time off. We'll get to that with Darby Allin. Jon Moxley still never got that vacation him and Renee planned a year ago around this time. So it makes sense that these guys are on that Jimmy Butler style of like you play every game, all 48 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. And then also the Orange Cassidy and AR Fox match was pretty good opener match for Dynamite. AR Fox is a good vet, of course. And then, of course, Moxley knows how to adapt his, I would say, like hardcore style mixed with strong style against somebody like AR Fox. Did you enjoy that match?
Well, both these matches are almost the exact same in terms of AR Fox and Action Andretti. Their styles of quick, high-flying, bouncing all over the ring versus Moxley's technical and hard-hitting style. That's why it was good that he's opened up his arsenal to face guys like this. And he's done that in the past. Like John Moxley, that's the whole point of the Blackpool Combat Club is they can face any variety of opponent. And at the end of the day, they bend them to their will, which is you'll pass out or tap out. And I enjoy AR Fox a lot. I'm glad he signed earlier this year. Or is that the end of last year? But he's been a great addition to the roster, much like Action Andretti was a great addition to the roster too. And I love seeing they told the story with Nick Wayne, Darby Allin at the end of this match, which John Moxley retained. But as my favorite of which of these two matches, it'd probably be the AR Fox one a little bit more. I think him and Mox had kind of better chemistry than Mox did with Andretti, but Andretti's still young, and he'll be someone who will be, I think, a champion in maybe 3 or 4 years, a tag champ or a trio champ of sorts.
Yeah.
But Moxley's gonna. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Go.
I would say no. This is John Moxley already carrying on the lineage of the international title, which is still going to be the workhorse title. We kind of saw how the TNT title got that moniker taken away from it by the international title once it got in that Sammy Guevara cursed space because of Pam. But the international title, once Pac won it and then dropped it to Orange Cassidy, it's been a title that's constantly been defended on TV every single weekend. Moxley was already doing that with the world title last year when he was the interim champ. So it makes sense that he's going to continue to do it with this title. So people can't say that they don't have fighting champions over at AEW.
Right. And I saw somebody online saying that Moxley's going in alphabet order.
Basically, that's good. I mean, AR Fox actually, and AR Fox was someone who Orange Cassidy beat. So there's kind of some history there. Maybe it'd be interesting to see if Moxley want to go down that road of like beat the guys that he beat. Kind of add that look, because you can tell the way Orange Cassidy looked at him walking up the ramp as Moxley was already in the ring. There's still kind of that like, this ain't over yet. Like either he wants the title back or he just wants the win back in general, because John Moxley dragged something out of him and Orange Cassidy still kept getting back up. And I always say this, like John Moxley wrestles with like, you're such a pissant attitude to whoever he faces. Like whenever he beats someone up and they keep getting up, he's like, you little shit, just like keeps beating them down. Like just stay the fuck down. Like,
yeah,
why are you stepping to me? And that was Orange Cassidy and Moxley to a T, where Moxley beat his ass and Orange Cassidy kept getting back up and Moxley's just like, die already. Fuck. That's why he put, toes to heaven and dropped him right on his head.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying. So it's still like a workhorse champion. Of course, the direction will be a little bit different, but we'll see how this plays out. And we see how it goes, because it's still a story between Nick Wayne and, like you said, Uncle Nick Wayne and
AR Fox,
Darby.
Yeah.
And and AR Fox. So moving on. So if you were in the chat, just pick which opener was good. Either it was the AR Fox versus Moxley, or it was Action Andrade versus Moxley. The big D's or the big C's, okay? Moving on, we also had Roderick Strong with the backstage segment with the Kingdom. He was just saying, like, Adam Cole, you haven't been there for me. I've been there for you, and you don't know your friends no more, and things like that. He's just sitting there with the neck brace, and then let me see. Oh yeah, with Matt Taven and also Mike Bennett backstage, and then also on Collision, their segment, it was Tony Giron. He did the backstage interview with Claudio and Eddie. He had to sit down with those two. So one was entertaining, and the other one was Claudio was just like on some fuck you. We can wrestle, but I don't have to address shit to you.
Yeah, I mean, the Roddy Strong, it's funny how Roddy Strong has become a character more so these days. I think he learned from NXT how to be a character, because he's always been a great wrestler. No one can deny that. We'll get to that later. But promos were not really Roderick Strong's strength, and character work wasn't really his strength. The closest he really got to that was with him and Dexter Lumis doing the whole, like, I'm scared of Dexter Lumis, but this is something completely different where shocking, we'll get to this a little later too, but shocking that AEW can tell stories too, especially that don't involve multiple Samoans. But on the flip side, like Collision, like, I've always said this, Eddie Kingston is someone to me who I'm always 50-50. I'm always in and out on. The promos, I just have a thing with New Yorkers where I just get tired of hearing them talk because they always got to make they always got to make it so personal and like it's them against the world. Or like Claudio says, like, at the end of the day, you still do this to yourself. Danielson said it to him, like, and you do this to yourself. CM Punk said to him, you do it to yourself. And Eddie Kingston, he can show up in the ring, especially against really good opponents. So that's the thing I'll never deny him, is that he can someone who can go with some of the best in the world. But him on the mic, he's just too dramatic, too extra for me. And I don't know, again, if that's the New Yorkness of it all. Where I gotta talk. New York,
you know how they are.
I know. That's why I think they're the worst people in the world. That's why Aaron Rodgers got injured. See?
Wow.
And I thought Claudio was horrible in this segment, though. It shows he still hasn't improved how to talk. And I don't know why it's good that they kind of did this pre-tape segment with him, but he's still not a great talker at all. And you can see why Vince held him back all those years because of that. But they built the match. It's going to be in
punches today.
No, it's genuine. Like,
that's what Lyric said. He coming out with the shade today.
No, I like Claudio. This will be a good match, and it's title for title. I like that. The New Japan Strong Openweight title versus the ROH title. And Eddie Kingston, he's held that title since July 4th, so it'll be good to see him defend it again. And I think he beats Claudio. He finally gets that win, gets the ROH title, because I don't see Claudio taking the New Japan title from him.
Yeah, it might be Eddie 2 belts.
And it'll be in New York. It'll be a big celebration. I don't want to spoil that show in your review, but that's a big, like, make Eddie Kingston moment, because he's someone for the past, almost 3 years, or that full gear match that him and Moxley is like trying to put him to the top of the card. He's someone who's always been a fan favorite, and people have been saying, when's he going to get the world title? But this is a step in that direction, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you in the chat, put your big D's or put your big C's. Drip is not holding back today.
Well, what did you think? Because at the end, Eddie Kingston did the whole thing like, sell the match, tell them to buy the tickets, and Tony Schiavone.
I love me some Eddie Kingston.
But you like, I don't blame you. I'm not saying I dislike him, but to me, just the extraness of it all, it's too very over the top. And
I'm over the top.
True, that is true.
Fraud. Oh my God. Big D. Put your big D's or put your C's. Why are you frowning?
No, that's just how my face looks.
Oh, okay. So next up, after that, of course, we had the little sex gods, my goat, and Sammy Guevara versus Aussie, oi. I love Aussie Open. Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis. And then on Collision, you had the trios match. It was the Bullet Club Gold. Jay White had an emergency, so he wasn't able to compete. So they shortened it up to a trios match, which was Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Juice Robinson versus Aerostar Diaz, Promotor, and Gravity.
Original Drago, yeah.
Yeah, if you know him from Lucha Underground, it was basically Lucha Underground versus BCC. So, what did you think about both of these matches? I enjoy everything Chris Jericho does. So I enjoyed the tag match between them and Aussie Open. I love Aussie Open, and I love Chris Jericho, and I kind of like Sammy Guevara, but not really. And then the trios match, the Guns, they couldn't keep up with the luchadors. It wasn't picking up. You could tell that Jay White wasn't there. Juice Robinson did the best he could to make the match a little bit more interesting, a little bit more technical. But those two against luchadors is, Tony You can't just pair everybody up against the luchador. Not a lot of them can keep up with them, okay? So it lackluster just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. That's just my opinion on it. What did you think?
I liked the tag match on Dynamite better than the trios match because Chris Jericho has looked the best in this match, and he's had in all the matches this year. Yeah, for some reason, he just had chemistry in this match with Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. And teaming with Sammy, I don't know what brought it out of him, but like this was a solid, really good tag match. And I like Aussie Open a lot. Obviously, they're next up. If unless FTR are, you know, running from the grind, which isn't new to them to run from the grind, but that's something we'll get to later. And I like, again, the Sammy Chris Jericho story. I don't mind it as much. There's always a mentor versus their apprentice storyline in AEW, but there's always a story like that in wrestling overall. And this is the one. This is like the final straw for Chris Jericho because he's the one who brought Sammy Guevara to that top. And is trying to make him in something. But again, he's the protege who's fallen off. The backstage drama, the lack of he won the TNT title, but that we don't care about any of those three reigns because he dropped the title, won it, dropped it, won it back, and then won it and dropped it again. So like, Sammy Guevara is not the TNT champion. The paper shows. So I think this is Chris Jericho wanting to do the veteran thing and elevate him and make something out of him. Because they've been trying to do that really this year more than last year when they were trying to make Sammy Guevara that guy. And I hate that they always keep trying with Sammy Guevara. Like, he'll never be a good promo. He'll always be what he is in the ring, which is a great high spot wrestler. And no one can take that away from him. But as a promo, as a character, it's just not his forte. And you can see that with the promo that him and Jericho had on Rampage when they just argue, like, I want to punch you in the face. And Jericho's, you know, he's one of the best on the mic to ever do it. But there's only so much he can do with Sammy Guevara in the story. And I'm not just focusing all on that because I did like the trios match. I like that. Again, the AE Lucha involvement in AEW has been really your forte, something you have been clamoring for and praising. And you can see the success it's had with Phoenix, Penta, Vikingo, and now these guys who haven't been on on Collision or Dynamite before. It's great to see Aerostar, Drago. And again, I love Gravity. You and I love Gravity and hope we get Bandito and Gravity back as a team once he comes back.
Yeah.
But Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn are great in their roles that they're in. You and Danny talked about that last week. I agree with what she said, that they're good, but their role in the group still is like they're just those guys standing next to Jay and Juice. Yeah. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Jay White guy. That Jay White was needed in this match because he's had great chemistry, shockingly, with Luchador since coming to AEW because he didn't face guys like that in New Japan. They're very strict and regimented with weight divisions over there. He would only face lighter guys in tag matches like this, but he's faced Commander one-on-one. He's faced some other guys one-on-one. And hopefully everything's good with Jay White. Hopefully he's able to make it and come back. Hopefully it's something really serious. But Bullet Club Gold is also the Collision show, and you can see that with the way they dominate the promos, the ring time, and all that. So it's all for what it was. But the tag match between Aussie Open and the Six Gods was the bigger highlight of the verses here.
Yeah. Everything that he said. Lyrics said Sammy is now the weakest pillar. Jack Perry is the savior. MJF is MJF is the face. Darby is the beloved daredevil. Sammy lacks a role. Yeah.
Well, if you really wanted to break that down, that's too much time right now. But I always thought Darby Allin was number one. Jack Perry and MJF could have flip-flopped for 2 and 3 at any moment. But to me, Sammy was always last because again, he can't cut a promo without bitch or shit or ass, without cussing or being just like immature as fuck and then shooting himself in the foot. And the fact that he had to use cue cards to get over just made me like, you're lame for that. As much as MJF is lame for his 80 shtick. But yeah, Jack Perry has definitely held on to his spot with his heel turnovers. It's like, I never would have thought Jack Perry worked as a face. As a heel. I never would have saw that coming. And he's still a work in progress, but you can see something there. I think coming back from the suspension too, he'll have a bigger edge. Maybe that's what will really solidify people like Jack Perry's. He's a bad guy now. He's the guy who made CM Punk quit.
He's the pillar. He's the one.
that Darby Allin will always be the pillar. You can see it. No one's taken number one spot away from Darby Allin. But Sammy Guevara, yeah, he'll always be dead last just because the other guys will be able to adapt a lot better than he can.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, my goat, you chose the wrong guy. That's all.
You chose the right guy based off. I think Jericho saw something in him a little bit, like that young. I don't want to say WCW Chris Jericho. I thought he was, you know what I mean? Like I think he saw.
Himself.
Yeah, if I can give this guy what I was, like give him the tools I have, and it's not a good fit.
It's not, and it's crazy. The one that's like him is Will Ospreay more than anybody.
Yeah. That's why also Daniel Garcia really didn't work to me either. I'm like, Daniel Garcia, he's again not a great talker. He just does a dance. That's it. In the ring, he's a good wrestler.
He's a good talker. Well, like when he did like some of the promos that he did, especially against Bryan Danielson, it was good.
All right, this is when I go, not to me, because you and I have had arguments before about that was good, and I'm like, to me, it wasn't good. I don't think Daniel Garcia.
Why? Because I don't understand.
Because he's always just like, Chris, let me tell you, when I was a wrestler starting out,
he can't help how he talk. That's how he talk.
I don't think he's a good talker. Again, just like how I don't think he's like Claudio, but maybe just a little bit better.
The dance is over as fuck, though.
Because people love chants. People will chant anything in wrestling. And then people like if you have something that they can mimic. We saw the football player do it yesterday.
He said, is it because he's from New Jersey?
No, he's from Buffalo.
So you just hate East Coast people?
I do. I've said it before.
Oh, my God. Drip hates East Coast people, y'all. What you doing with that chair?
Coming to hit you with it just.
The little one got the chair. I was like, what you doing with that chair?
Gigi's eagle, why don't they fail because Taylor was stepping on that thing?
Okay. Baby Keeks, y'all.
Definitely.
Did it break?
No, it just failed.
Okay, that's all. Okay, go back and go. Okay, that's all I need to know. All right, so moving on. Of course, we had the now this is by itself. We had the backstage interview with Don Callis and Takeshita, and they was just saying that somebody else is next on their list. So, if you in the comments, who do you think is next on Don Callis' list? Some people were saying Ibushi.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think Takeshita's in that stage of like little brother's big brother now. He beat Kenny Omega. Wrestle Dream's coming up. They've already brought Kota Ibushi in for 2 matches. It seems like they, again, he's not with New Japan anymore. Lyric would know that too. Check her out. She's a great expert on New Japan wrestling and British wrestling. And I think, I don't know if we'll get Kota Ibushi full-time AEW wrestler, but I can see them bringing him in for these spots like they have been. So I'm not shocked if we get Takeshita Ibushi at Wrestle Dream.
Yeah. So it most likely will be Ibushi, or it might be plot twist somebody else. Who knows?
I'm like, would it be like Orange Cassidy? Would it be someone who's, a single star who has nothing to do? I almost kind of thought that a little bit, but I'm like, they're promoting Wrestle Dream. That's the next show they got on their mind. So it only, again, 2 and 2 equals 4 when you add it up. But it's not a thing like you always say, like, don't get your hopes up if it's not Ibushi. I'm not in that camp of like, it's Kota Ibushi or nothing. I'm like, I just want to see what they have with Takeshita because I like Takeshita. Even when he was the basic babyface Cinnabon god, he has the talent as a wrestler. And he's got these great coats coming to the ring. I like that. And Don Callis is someone who can do the talking for him.
Lyric said she wouldn't be surprised if it's Golden Lovers versus Ospreay and Takeshita.
Yeah, because again, Will Ospreay has hinted that his contract and his time with New Japan full time is coming up, and he's maybe already grown fond of AEW with the time he spent there. And he's a huge star whenever he shows. Yeah, and he's a huge star whenever he shows up. I know you thought it was bullshit when he showed up to the whatever city they were, and no one popped for him because they're like, huh? But the Dynamite that he was there with the contract signing, like Will Ospreay was the most over man that night with the bruv. Let me tell you something, bruv.
Brother.
Bruv.
That's what I said, brother. Bruh. Okay, so moving on. After that, we had the of course, one half of the ROH World Tag Champion. Of course, it was AEW. Also, he's the AEW champion. I'll be forgetting that he is. MJF, he came out to do a promo, whoop-de-doo or whatever. And also on Collision, it was another what did I put? Oh yeah, it was tied up with the match. It was like a kind of a squash match, not really. I just paired it up with it. Ray Phoenix versus Angelico and a FTR interview. Because like I said, Collision don't be having that many matches, so it's kind of hard to. So I do what I can, y'all.
No, don't do that. Don't do that because they're back on that train now since CM Punk.
No, because when I did my notes for this, it still wasn't that many matches. Okay, it still wasn't that many matches, so it's still not that many matches with Dynamite.
Okay.
Yeah. So on Dynamite, like I said, MJF was talking. I don't know what he was talking about. But then Samoa Joe came out, called him a bitch, called him a hoe, called him you a little boy, you a bitch again, all of that stuff. I enjoyed it.
So it's funny to me that this episode of Dynamite was in Indianapolis, and I believe the first episode of Dynamite when MJF was champion was in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And the reaction then versus the reaction now, it's the complete opposite. Remember, he came out, debuted the Triple B. No one made a sound. It was quiet as fuck. He cut that 20-minute promo. No one reacted. He was saying all this cheap heat. It didn't work. He was saying, I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to be here. All this and all that. And flash forward a year later, he's wrestled, 8 times in the last 2.5 months. So, and the thing, he told this to Samoa Joe, like he brought up William Regal, and that was the same episode where he punched William Regal out. That was the only time the crowd gave a fuck about him that night. But like, this guy's our champion. He punches out William Regal and sends him packing. So for him to be in the complete opposite position now as this tweener, this wannabe Stone Cold, wannabe Rock, because that's yeah, exactly. But like, he cuts this wannabe Rock promo with like these insults, like the Pillberry Joe Boy and Samoa Doe. It's like, this is what The Rock would say when he came back in 2011, 2012 to fight CM Punk, and to fight CM Punk, like, let's call CM Punk a cookie puss. And then everyone started chanting cookie puss. It's like, that's MJF these days. And I'm like, I always think I laugh when he comes out. I have a smile. I feel like this shit actually works. Like, you people fall for this shit. And some of it, I'm like, eh. And some of it, I'm just like, come on. He's like, but he's always, brought out those old basic ass tricks to, again, like I said, people love to champ. People love to be part of the show. And that's the MJF Adam Cole experience. That's what Bruchachos for Life is. No, I agree. When the last 5 minutes of this promo, I just muted it because I'm like, I can't take it anymore. Samoa Joe was trying to. Samoa Joe was just saying there like, if the kid wants to talk, I'll let him talk. Like, you could tell he's like,
Samoa Joe's like, this shit is lame. This insult is lame, bro. You lame.
He's just like, wrap it up, B. Wrap it up. Like, because it's MJF, we get 20-minute segments in the middle of Dynamite, so the demos can skew a certain way to show relevancy. But I don't know. But here's storytelling, right? Everyone shits on AEW for having no storytelling.
Right. So they have to do it. I be forgetting that he's fucking champion though. True,
but it's like, because the story's not about him being champion. The story's about him and Adam Cole. It's like the bloodline's not about Roman Reigns being champion. It's about cousins. And this is their version of that. This is Adam Cole, MJF. Can they make it? Will they? Won't they make it? But because, again, this is storytelling. They tied in Roddy Strong's injured neck, which seemed random as fuck when Samoa Joe injured him. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like they were mainly going to go Adam Cole and CM Punk, because they kind of had that weird look at the end when CM Punk and Adam Cole were in the ring as Roddy Strong got stretchered off. No, of course it's not all storytelling, but when people say they can't do storytelling, this is storytelling. They're tying that segment to this segment. The Kingdom is still going at it with Adam Cole. And now we have MJF Samoa Joe, which seemed random at the moment, but they tied it into their history from one occurrence in NXT years ago. But like, again, it's storytelling here, and here. It may not be a good story. I don't think it's an interesting story because I'm kind of over this MJF shit altogether.
He's over now.
Yeah. And look what it took to get him over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's being that he's over now and being that he's champion, he has to make an appearance. So this is what we get. We win or we lose either way. So this is what we get. This is what we work with.
It's more tolerable than what we got at the start of the year, which was some of the most unbearable, I'm the heel champion shit you've ever seen. It was almost like
kids and shit.
Yeah. Well, no, but him just being like fake Triple H, like, you got to beat this guy to face me, and then you got to beat that guy to face me, and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Because look, you spoke on, they had to change the rules when it came to like, you can't go into the crowd and interact with the people anymore because of him. You can't do any of this shit because of him.
Doing that dumb shit.
The FTR promo. So wait.
Oh yeah, get on. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
FTR says they're mad they're not in the main event of Collision. Why the fuck would they be in the main event of Collision? No one cares about these guys as tag champs. These guys only matter when the Young Bucks are around. They listed off all the teams they beat. They're like, they beat the Guns, transitional champions. Who gives a fuck? They beat Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Easy losses. They beat Bullet Club Gold. Jay White dragged them to 58 minutes of wrestling. I'm not trying to shortchange Juice Robinson, but that was a Jay White clinic in that match. Then we finally beat the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks had no choice but to put those guys over. Because if the Young Bucks won, FTR would bitch and moan that the Young Bucks used their EVP status to put themselves over, to make them matter more. They played politics so FTR couldn't, look better than them. But no, the Young Bucks won. The Young Bucks lost and FTR won. And FTR is like, why don't we matter? That's FTR at the end of the day. Why don't we matter? The only time they've been in main events on Collision is when their buddy was tagging with them, because that's the only time they had star status. They fired that guy, and now they have no one to help them. And that's why they're bitching and moaning. Like, they showed up and thought they are going to get the main event tag match with the Bucks at a pay-per-view. Who told you that? That's not how it works here. Because it's a dream match? Because you're the best tag team in the world? No, that's not how it works. And the Young Bucks beat them, and they bitched and moaned for a year and a half about being wasted. What they did last year is like Russell Westbrook's triple-double season. Like, yeah, you put up numbers, but a lot of people made this bigger than you. Like, the Briscoes carried them that entire year from start to finish. They want to say, like, that's the thing. They're like, we beat the Briscoes. I'm like, come on. The Young Bucks had faced the Briscoes for a decade prior to you. It's just so, these guys are going to have such Bret Hart energy. Like, make me matter. Why don't I matter? Why do you want other people over me? Aussie Open is coming for the throne next, rightfully so. But they didn't mention the team that they've been ducking. I said it on Twitter. The Acclaimed. They had to push the Acclaimed to the Trios division because the FTR was too scared to beat the Acclaimed. That's all it was. And Tony Khan, I give Tony Khan a lot of shit. I think he's a bad booker a lot of times, but I bet he knew FTR versus the Acclaimed would be a big match. But he also knows, like, well, if I have FTR beat the Acclaimed, that doesn't make the Acclaimed look so good. But FTR knows that as well. And they don't like looking like the villain by beating the Acclaimed, which is still, like you always say, the most over act in AEW when it comes to merch, when it comes to fucking crowd reaction. Even when this last, 7 months for them has kind of been up and down, they're still over, no matter what. So for FTR not even to mention the Acclaimed it just shows like these guys play by their own scoreboard. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
the revival.
that's the only good thing Cody Rhodes has given us in the last couple of years. Because all that my wife and blah, blah, blah bullshit, my dad. No. It's him saying, because he was right. And I always say it. How come they never did business together? Ain't that some shit? They spent 2 years in AEW and never did anything together.
Hurry up and give the gold to Aussie Open. Beat they ass. Because we tired of my wife, my daughter, my whatever he be saying. FCR ball.
But there was a match I actually like in Helico. I wish Jack Evans was still around because I like the hybrid 2 tag team. Again, real AEW day ones remember how the tag team division was always stacked with the hybrid 2 when Private Party was healthy, SCU. And I miss seeing Jack Evans around with Angelico because Angelico, really good technical wrestler. And you can see that with him and Ray Phoenix. It was great seeing Ray Phoenix back. He did his Ray Phoenix shit. And it's like, this guy's the best in the world at doing his shit. Like, no one could do Ray Phoenix stuff except Vikingo, but like he's 6 inches shorter.
They complain about the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is FTR, again, because FTR can't wrestle Lucha Brothers. We've seen their matches.
They complained about the Lucha Brothers. Pinson is probably one of the safest wrestlers, and they said that he was a little bit too rough.
Well, don't forget, again, who do they learn from?
The shade. Yeah, so which one? Make sure y'all put y'all D's and y'all C's up for that one.
It's Collision for me. I'm not giving NJ because even Samoa Joe choking him out and calling him again a bitch, a kid. It's funny, but like, no.
Put your C's and your D's up. Your big D's and your C's. Your WC. So next up, after that, of course, is part of the Grand Slam title eliminator because you know that is to whoever wins that is going to face MJF at Grand Slam. It was the quarterfinal for this one. It was Trent Beretta, also of course with Chuck versus Roderick Strong with the Kingdom, and then also Collision again. You had Roderick Strong with the Kingdom versus Darby Allin.
The man of the hour.
Yes, Roderick Strong was killing it in both matches, both days. I love Trent Beretta. Trent is a workhorse. He's great. He's great at what he does. I've always appreciated him. He's one of those guys. He doesn't have to have a title. I wouldn't mind him and Chuck being like ROH tag team champions. You know, just one more. But I know that they've been in the game for almost 20 years. So they just really kind of because Trent said in an interview that somebody interviewed him at the one in Chicago that they did.
All Out. Oh, the Starcast.
Starcast. Yes, he was just saying he's just here to have a good time. He loves to wrestle. He doesn't have to have a belt. He doesn't like that. He don't want that pressure. But if he gets a belt, he doesn't mind being ROH tag champion soon. So I appreciate Trent for what he does. I appreciate Chuck too.
That's the guy. I like seeing Chuck wrestle, especially when it's him and Trent together, because a lot of time Trent does the singles action. Chuck Taylor really doesn't do singles matches these days. But I think because he's working more behind the scenes, kind of helping people out. But Trent still is someone who's in it for the love of the game type of stuff. Yeah,
I believe Chuck is one of the coaches, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. You can tell too, just based on he trained Wheeler Yuta. Again, he's responsible for Orange Cassidy, a lot of the people too.
Yeah.
They'll get that. I think that trios title for Orange Cassidy is in their future. I don't know if we get that at the end of this year or at the start of next year. But at some point, Best Friends will hold gold together again. I thought they were going to win that Battle Royal instead of the Dark Order and get the tag match against MJF and Adam Cole. That's why I was kind of shocked Dark Order won. But they still have something planned for Dark Order. Again, speaking of trios, Dark Order is kind of next up for that. But I enjoyed both these matches. Again, I love Darby Allin, and Roderick Strong was a perfect opponent for Darby Allin, just the way he sold for me and bouncing him all over the ring. I love that tweet that had the sound of a ding, 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 because he fell from turnbuckle to the apron to the floor, just like, oh my God. And both these matches, I think it's a tie for me because both these matches delivered. Again, Trent's a great wrestler, Darby's a great wrestler, and Roderick Strong, from TNA to ROH to NXT, he's always been that guy in the ring. He might be early 40s now, but it's still crazy that he just goes, and like hasn't lost a step at all. He keeps himself in great shape. That's why, but like his offense still, it hasn't slowed down a beat.
Pretty much, yes. I enjoy Roger Strong, and then after he wins, he puts his brace.
He puts the neck. He's like,
he put the brace back on, like you psychopath. If your neck hurting, it's hurting.
Well, see, this is why it's good that Jim Ross isn't on the announce team for every match, because he would just shit all over that. But Taz did say, like, the guy's gonna wrestle with an injured neck, and this is Taz, who had his career shortened by an injured neck, being like, I don't think this is good. Jim Ross would just be like, why is he in the damn match? You can't wrestle with a hurt neck. But do you want to speak on the Neck Strong shirts that they've been wearing?
Shout out to the Neck Strong
community.
I said it should have been what did I say? I tweeted it. I forgot that phrase. Get that neck or something like that. It was something to that.
But I said this to you because on Collision they cut the promos in the beginning, and Roderick Strong's like, I might have an injured neck, but Darby at the end of the match, you're gonna have an injured back. And I'm like, wait a minute. Whoa. Like,
and I tweeted, I said, break that back. And everybody was like, pause. So I was like, no.
The innuendo is just too much in here, because Darby Allin responded like, yeah, my back may be hurting, but I'm still gonna go out there. I'm like, whew, two men tussling, necks, backs.
Yeah, get that deep throat neck.
But no, again, these are great matches, and Roderick Strong MVP of the week for carrying both shows on his neck and his back. God damn, just like.
Yeah, and then also like a little with the Collision, Nick Wayne was accompanied with Darby, and like I told you, Christian did kind of interfere with that too. And I told you, I feel like Nick Wayne is joining Christian sooner or later. Christian's gonna be his new father. So.
You and Lyric a few months ago talked about Jack Perry returning to Christian. The prodigal son type. A little bit of Succession, like my number one boy, like come here, like daddy's here. If Christian has a stable of fatherless men, that would be kind of like, is Wardlow gonna come back and be like, you were right all along? Like, I imagine Christian being the surrogate father faction.
All my sons.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think of like who's that, like what kind of figure that is, but that's basically what he would be if he had Nick Wayne. It's the Nick Wayne mom jokes, because if they show Nick Wayne's mom, she's very trophy wife-ish. So it's like, and very Christian's type. So like, I'm like, I don't put it past him if he is trying to, be for real about it.
That man did go through a divorce.
Because he legit said, like, hey, say hi to your mom for me. And I'm like, I think he kind of meant that too. Like, hey,
right.
Say hi to her for me. Like,
I'm dead ass. Like, dead.
But yeah, AR Fox came out. He tried to help Darby. Nick Wayne's still pissed because rightfully so. AR Fox fucked him up in his dad's, wrestling shed. So Nick, as someone who holds a grudge and is all for vengeance, Nick Wayne shouldn't just get over that because AR Fox and Darby are friends. But like I always tell you, you gotta pick a side. It's better to be on one side than be man in the middle. And Darby Allin is the man in the middle when it comes to Nick Wayne and AR Fox.
Yeah. So because they're doing something with that. So of course, if you in the chat, put your D's and put your C's on which Roderick Strong match was your favorite. So put your D's and your C's. Moving on, of course, I'm gonna just see him through this one. Keith Lee, he returned soon. He spoke. We know that Keith Lee has a health issue. When COVID happened, he hasn't been the same. We know that we just buried Bray Wyatt with the COVID situation. It is messing up our, be mindful of that, okay? Once some people catch COVID, they have never been the same. So just be mindful of Keith Lee. Just be a little bit empathetic on why you don't see him as much, because health is more important. So he said that he will, he got some scores to finish or whatever he was saying. I was distracted by the sweater, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't listen. If you love anime, I don't blame you. I'm not really much of an anime guy. I don't hate it.
But you watch Fast and Furious. That's the men's anime.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It is.
Anyway, like you're saying, I do enjoy Keith Lee. I'm not rushing to see him back if he's not healthy. And again, everyone makes fun of Keith Lee for the poor Walter tweets. Like, let's not forget, Vince McMahon was in charge when they brought Walter up to the main roster. And he wasn't doing shit with him until Triple H took control of the company and made him IC champ. So everything of Gunter the last, breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record is Triple H's doing, because if Vince McMahon was in charge, there were all those rumors that like Vince McMahon doesn't see it in Walter and Gunter. He doesn't see what people see, and that's why he was stagnant. So everyone shits on Keith Lee for that. When it's like, because he hasn't done nothing in AEW, like him and Swerve are tag champs. They had some good matches as tag champs, but since then, they were both in the same level, and we will get to the Swerve promo in a minute, but Swerve has since surpassed him because Keith Lee's inactivity. And mainly that's what it is he's just not been active. And who knows what he could have done in that time frame. I think you and I spoke offline once that he'd be a better fit for ROH because it's a lot of pre-taped wrestling. I think he'd be great as the ROH World Champion. It's probably what would be best for his health too. And they have a great roster. Again, the way they cycle people through AEW and ROH like they do NXT and WWE. Keith Lee, I think, being the face of ROH for the next year would be better than him being lost in the shuffle on Dynamite or Collision now, given how it's been. Because we skipped over. Yeah, we skipped over. Which match did Andrade watch on Collision? Was it the Rey Fenix match or was it a different match that he watched?
No, it was the Rey Fenix match, but
What?
I went over it a little bit. It was kind of a squash match, but not really.
No, I mean, but see, again, Andrade is another person who came back to be a face of Collision, hasn't really done much the last 3 weeks. House of Black has kind of been that same way. They were supposed to be these faces of Collision and kind of been on standby. And I don't know if Keith Lee's now someone who's going to get that spot. So,
yeah,
everyone's like, this brand split between AEW and Collision might end because CM Punk's gone. But I think it was good to have certain people be Collision people and certain people be Dynamite people. And Collision.
They did say that the certain people that.
Oh, I know the people that they advertised. Yeah, but I'm saying I'm just glad if Keith Lee's a Collision guy going forward, I think that would be best for him to have a spot on one show weekly or bi-weekly compared to, is he on Dynamite this week or is he on Collision this week? Because that's what's kind of ruined some people's momentum, I think.
You might be right about that. But next up after that, of course, is the two segments. One, it was the Hangman Page Swerve encounter. And then on Collision, it was the Bryan Danielson, Ricky Starks. Now, me and you argued about this.
Not argued. We had a discussion. It wasn't an argument.
It was the argument. It was the argument. And like I said, the AEW fans have spoken on this one. Okay, you gotta put your pride to the side, and the fans have spoken. Okay, me and Lyric done had a conversation about this privately. We done talked about this too. You go first. I already know what you're gonna say, but go ahead. The floor is yours.
I thought it was, and I told you this yesterday when you sent me the format. I thought it was, again, I'm not a religious person, but I thought this was fate that these two segments were lined up together, considering the men involved, considering which sides we might be on. Everyone who knows me knows I'm not fond of Swerve, but I will say when the bell rings, he's one of the best that can go out there and wrestle. And to be honest, the last 4 months, he's risen where Ricky Starks the last 4 months, they were both getting that push at the exact same time with Swerve in the Battle Royal to challenge Orange Cassidy for the international title. If I had to do a list of Orange Cassidy's international defenses, a top 10 list, I know he's not fond of lists, but I'd have that Swerve match in it because that was one of the best title defenses Orange Cassidy had as champion when they faced each other right after Double or Nothing. And Ricky Starks went on to win the Owen Hart tournament, and that was supposed to be like a here damn in a way. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to give Ricky Starks something because they weren't giving him a title. And I'm like, just you're better off giving him a title because the CM Punk matches underdelivered both times. And that's due to CM Punk not being ready to come back because all his matches underdelivered. You were tweeted weekly that this man gets 30 minutes of TV time and all his matches stink. And that whether that be tag matches or singles matches. And Ricky Starks this year really regressed in the ring because I thought last year you can see he had a lot of in-ring talent. And Danny kind of spoke to this last week that it seemed like he might be a better fit as a tag wrestler because him and Hobbs really did have chemistry together. And that dynamic worked. And I thought it was the opposite of Swerve and Keith Lee. I thought they didn't make sense as a tag team and they were tag team champions. That's why the whole time I'm like, make Team Taz tag champs. That way you can free up Keith Lee and Swerve to do something as singles wrestlers because them being forced as a tag team really didn't make sense. And you can see now, I think the crowd and the companies behind Swerve on Dynamite and Ricky Starks on Collision. That's like the way it's been advertised. And this is a match that will deliver when it comes to in-ring. And what he's speaking to about Hangman Page getting these opportunities that he hasn't, or, you know, Hangman Page is now in the character that I always relate to, which is the guy who doesn't want the glory. He thinks it's not meant for him. And sort of trying to take that away from him is kind of interesting. But as a promo, I still thought it was meh. But I know in the ring it's going to, at the end of the day, I know in the ring it still delivers.
That promo was not meh.
To me, it was.
Why?
Because the whole idea about, like, again, you've had this and all that, like him running him down for like, you're on pre-shows. I'm like, okay.
He's saying the same thing that the fans been saying.
Yeah, but that's in like him being the guy who's going to tell him the truth about like who Hangman
Page is. So you like that prior to us being here in the same 3 weeks of him, this other man crying about not having opportunities and he done won the damn Owen Hart tournament?
No, because I think that's the thing that's been hurting Ricky Starks is they came up with this fake suspension. And then, like you said, the CM Punk firing fucked him over because he was supposed to have this match with CM Punk, which would have ruined him even more because he would have taken another loss to CM Punk. People would have bitched and moaned about Ricky Starks as being wasted because he lost to CM Punk again. Him losing to Danielson and the way he did was a much better look because what he did this week when he came out, it was hilarious that Danielson's like, here's a Blackpool Combat Club shirt. We want to welcome you into the team. Of all people to be like, join us. The group of technical wrestlers join us, Ricky Starks. It was like a fit that was never going to fit. It's like bringing a flashy superstar to the Spurs. Like, that doesn't work here. We play team ball. We don't play that. Malik
said you're a hater. No, he's not. He's just hard. Drip is just really, really hard.
But no, I agree. Because the Ricky Starks promos of like, because he can cut a promo with the best of them, but him whining and crying, like you said, about not getting the opportunities where it's like, you won the Owen Hart title. The Owen Hart Cup. It just doesn't mean nothing to win it, unfortunately. That's the thing at the end of the day. It's just a tournament that doesn't give people anything. Adam Cole won it. It didn't do anything for him. It's just a thing they do.
He's not doing that.
It's just a thing they do in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the spring. I've said this.
He's not doing that.
What?
He said leave the beef in the past. He's not doing that.
No, it's not even that because I said that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll praise him for being great in the ring. Everyone knows I'm not a fan of. Again, I can not be a fan of for whatever reasons. But as the character, it's funny that Big Bill's with Ricky Starks now because I think Big Bill's a better fit for Swerve.
And no, they do not. Ken, first listen. That is not true. y'all need to acknowledge that Ricky keeps getting his one-on-ones from Cody fucking Rhodes. He is Cody boy. And y'all need to acknowledge that. So he keeps going back to Cody Rhodes. Because mind you, when Ricky Starks had a feud with Adam Page, you know what he did afterwards? He complained to them that Adam Page was too rough. He did that. And you know where he got that shit from? Cody Rhodes. He's a Cody boy at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. You can like Dwayne Johnson Jr., but at the end of the day, he still has some Cody Rhodes tendencies because of the shit that Cody Rhodes taught him, just like MJF. Like, they still have a little bit of that Cody Rhodes shit in them. The stuff that Cody Rhodes taught them.
Which is why that...
I hate to say it, y'all might, y'all can feel how y'all... I get that y'all like Ricky Starks. I do too. He still doesn't connect with me in the ring because I feel like he has the potential to do more. I have to see him with certain people in order for it to connect with me. I need to see him in a match with Penta. I need to see him in a match with Daniel Garcia. I need to see him in a match with Jungle Boy. I need to see him I have to see matches like that for me to be like, okay, maybe he is the one. He had a match with Bryan Danielson, but you got to remember that was a gimmick type match. I need a non-gimmick type match. He's got a lot of he's the first Black Owen Hart champion. It's not like he's being lost in the shuffle. He's just not what y'all want him to be. I'm sorry, and I'm sad to say, but the AEW fans have spoken. And for the fourth consecutive week, Swerve Demo has been higher than Ricky Starks. And they look at that as a Black wrestler. His demo chart has higher. So all y'all that be support, why is Ricky Starks this and y'all not tuning in, is because of that. Y'all not watching his shit. Y'all not buying his merches. Y'all not watching his matches. Y'all not buying his merches. Swerve for the fourth week in a row, demo chart has been up. And it's improving. All he needs is a fire merch, and that's going to be our first Black AEW World Champion.
The person that's lost in the shuffle, and it's the guy that it fits along this, who's the first Black AEW champion, World Champion, is Hobbs. He's the guy that's been shafted a lot of times by bad booking, pairing him with the wrong people, and I don't know if he's in the pecking order of who's going to be the first Black World Champion, but everyone saw how great him and Miro were together. Hobbs is over when he comes out, but they've given him the shaft more than Ricky Starks, more than they did Swerve last year when everyone was complaining that they were misusing Swerve. They were sticking him with Keith Lee. But Hobbs is the guy who they made TNT champion. They didn't do shit with him as TNT champion. And all they do when Hobbs comes out is give him these literally 1 minute squash matches. That's all they do when Hobbs comes out. And he's the guy who's been given the shaft when it comes to these wrestlers who can be the first Black AEW World Champion. He still works.
Comment back up, please. But keep going, because I'm gonna say something after you done.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yes. Mihu, yes, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And I hate to say it, but they will not get him in WWE. He's not big enough. So y'all know that. So if you want AEW, if you want Ricky Starks to be what he needs to be, y'all have to support him regardless, because he's not going to get into WWE. And if he do, it's probably going to be NXT, but it ain't going to be in that main roster. He's too small. Swerve gained weight. He got bigger. Ricky Starks is still small. I'm not saying he wouldn't work. I'm saying he's too small. He's small. And he Black. So, if you Black, you can't be that small. They picky about they Black wrestlers. We don't have the same opportunities like that.
That's why they didn't wait. And that's why they waited so long to do something with Xavier Woods, and they made him King of the Ring as a consolation prize. Even though he could always wrestle, and I always would say, like, if anyone saw him in TNA, Xavier Woods can wrestle, but when it came to the New Day, he was the only guy out of that group that can talk, and then people forgot he could wrestle. But again, because he was shorter than everyone else. Mm-hmm. But it's that thing where these two men, while... Yeah, no, I agree. Whether because, and that's thing, like, online, Starks is more popular. In the arena, Swerve is more popular. Mm-hmm. And that's the dynamic between, and that's why it's funny that there'll always be two sides of the coin together. There'll always be these polar opposites. For Swerve to be superior than Starks in a wrestling company like AEW is, maybe he'll always get that push further because he can go with anyone. Ricky Starks can go, like, him and Jay White had a great match the first time him and Jay White had a match. And I'm not just trying to say that because it's Jay White, but that's the Ricky Starks that showed up to wrestle someone that likes a Jay White. And in the past, Ricky Starks has shown up to wrestle real wrestlers. But when it came to Collision, it just, I don't know what it was. If he had the weight of trying to be the guy on Collision along with CM Punk, because they really try to force feed Ricky Starks on Collision, that all those matches with Juice, the rematch of Hobbs, they just weren't good. And all the matches with Punk weren't good. Even though it was a gimmick match, I don't like strap matches at all. But him and Danielson was good, really good. And again, that's a testament to Bryan.
Can make a Rock look good.
Mm-hmm. But again, Ricky Starks still looked impressive for what he was doing in terms of having to hang with Danielson, just like Swerve's impressive for being able to wrestle Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and whoever.
I just need to see what Ricky Starks definitely has the potential to be there. He is great at talking. He is great at making things entertainment. I just have to see a match where I can be like, okay, shut me up. Shut me the fuck up. Like, put him, I want to see him in Penta. Penta is the safest luchador. I want to see a match with him in Penta. Or I feel like, past that, during that whole segment, though, Bryan Danielson confirmed that he does want a match against Zack Sabre Jr., which I've been wanting so long. It's finally happening. And then, of course, Ricky Starks messed that up. And also, man, I'm like, get the fuck out the ring.
Well, that was a good. I agree with what you said. Like, we don't want this story anymore. And then it led to Big Bill, John Moxley, but to not skip over the fact that we will be getting Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., which we were supposed to get last summer. Bryan Danielson gets injured. Bryan Danielson gets injured facing Okada, so he knows, shit, if I want this match with Zack Sabre Jr., I gotta have it right away before I get injured again. Like, right. That's just the shape he's in. And I hate saying that because even though he's been injured, Bryan Danielson comes back and still top 5 wrestlers on the planet. It's crazy how this man can go out, get injured, come back, and still be the same guy after these injuries.
All time.
Versus CM Punk, who came back, got injured, came back, wrestled even worse. Like, but Zack Sabre Jr., Bryan Danielson, it's a match we've all been wanting to see. It'll deliver at Wrestle Dream, and for that to be the first, again, it literally is a Wrestle Dream. That's why the show is accurately named. I didn't see the promo, though, that Zack Sabre Jr. cut, but Zack Sabre Jr. has cut some scathing promos in the past about people, especially about about Bryan Danielson, when he was like, the Blackpool Country Club. Is that what you lot do? Like, so Zack Sabre Jr. is going to, he's going to have a field day shit talking Bryan Danielson and being like, who's the best technical wrestler?
The match should be scaring the hoes, but we all want, no, AEW women, we love this shit. AEW is for the bad bitches, okay? We've been saying it for. If you go to an AEW show, I'm telling you, it's nothing but bad bitches up in there. The ugly bitches be at the top, but the bad bitches we be down there.
But in the soap opera that is the BCC, it's funny that Starks and Big Bill beat up Danielson. Only John Moxley comes out to save Bryan Danielson, and you've always spoke to the fact that Claudio is the one that will cause this divide within the group. Mm-hmm. Even though he was the handpicked choice by Bryan Danielson to face Zack Sabre Jr., it does seem like Claudio's only close with Moxley because he beats up Wheeler Yuta. I've always said, like, Moxley doesn't give a fuck about Wheeler Yuta. His only son is Shota Umino. Like that's his only young boy. He had to adopt Wheeler Yuta by choice.
Yeah.
He only cares about Shota because that's his number one. That's his son. It was just interesting to see again that dynamic of who comes out when the BCC gets jumped, because when it's Wheeler Yuta getting jumped, no one ever comes out. But if it's Moxley or Danielson getting jumped, they get some backup. But it was only Moxley coming out to his defense, and they teased that match with Big Bill and John Moxley for next week, which will be pretty good. I like Big Bill.
I do too. Big Bill is like resurrecting Test. And if you know, back in the day, Test was really that guy. Test just wasn't good at the promo, but he could have been the superstar that Triple H think that he was. In ring wise, Test was him. He wasn't good at talking, but he didn't really need to talk. All they had to do was pair Test up with a manager, and they would have been. But everybody knew the story with that though. Some people made sure that people was down here so they could be fucking up here. Okay. Let me move on because it's already 9:10, y'all. The main event, of course, was for Dynamite was the Grand Slam World Title Eliminator Tournament quarterfinal. It was wait, did I say this one? Oh no, it was Darby Allin versus Nick Wayne. And then on Collision, it was Samoa Joe versus Penta. Me personally, I feel like Samoa Joe versus Penta was better than Darby Allin versus Nick Wayne. It was still a great ending match. I felt like Darby Allin and Nick Wayne shouldn't have main evented, but that's just my opinion. But it was still overall a great match. But Penta and Samoa Joe was a great match. Penta is good with anybody. Okay, I love me some Penta. Y'all know I love me some Penta. I love Penta. I love Lucha Brothers. That is baby's son. Papa Apache would have been proud if he was still here. I've said, Penta is the richest luchador is on record. He is, according to Mexico Forbes, the richest luchador. He is really the resurrected of El Santo. If you want to be technical, he is. Except he ain't in no movies. He's just fucking businessman.
The Lucha Underground was TV, so he can count that.
I guess so, yeah. He ain't on no soap operas down there, but he's a businessman. And he's wrestling for fun. It's crazy. And he trains his daughter now. Lady Penta, which we will probably see in the next 5 years. It's crazy. I'm going to feel so old when we see her in the ring. But Samoa Joe and Penta was cooking. Nick Wayne and Darby Allin is still bidding on their stories. Eddie James, how do you know much about? I love my love for Lucha began in WCW, the Cruiserweight division. And ever since then, that's when I just started my love for Lucha. And plus, my grandmother's Mexican, so that's how that is. She used to have it on the channel. El Santo, I can't remember that show they used to come on. And we had to sit there and watch it every Saturday morning. He will do wrestling moves, but it was like on some superhero shit. And like the one that I seen resurface, that was the one that I seen before where the axe was thrown in the ring and he did like some Matrix ass shit and did like stuff like that. So yeah, TK loves, yes he does. They shouted out Lucha Blog on the show too. Lucha Blog, make sure y'all follow him because he's very, 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 very important in Lucha Libre. I keep over my stuff through him too. Very cool dude. He's low key laid back, but he knows his shit. What did you think about the main events, either or?
I thought both were even to me. I like Nick Wayne and Darby Allin. I like Samoa Joe Penta. I wish this was Samoa Joe of 2008 versus Penta because that would have been match of the year contender. I don't want to be like, because I think Samoa Joe is one of the guys who his age kind of can still go. Again, it's at a slower speed, but he can still do his offense. Yeah, that diving through the table, just Samoa Joe just being like,
me who? The answer, yes. You can ask you.
When Samoa Joe just let him crash through this table, and Penta just was like, it was just like Darby Allin sliding through the ropes, and Nick Wayne said nope, and Darby Allin crashed right into the barricade. Like Penta and Darby Allin, they might have faced each other once. If not, that's a match we need to get at some point.
Yeah, they have. I think it was like 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I feel like they
when Penta was a heel. I think it was like a heel run.
But either way, we need it again just because their chemistry. But if I had to say which one was my favorite, I probably would choose the Penta Samoa Joe one. But I did like, again, Nick Wayne. You can see he's got potential. Again, he's only 18, so you can't judge his flaws and all that because he's still a prodigy in the sense of like 3 years from now, we got to see where Nick Wayne will be at, especially once he puts on muscle and all that. But him and Darby Allin had a good match, and it was more about the storytelling of the match of like, this is for real now. This match matters. Like, hit me harder. Darby Allin was trying to bring that energy out of him. And there's always, like you said, that Christian lurking in the background where he showed up on the Titantron to watch the match again, like some father figure, and just gets in the way. But the way it plays out, we all knew when they showed the brackets that we'd get Samoa Joe, Roderick Strong. Again, the storytelling of Roderick Strong's neck, Samoa Joe and MJF, Roderick Strong and Adam Cole. But
Taya is not a luchador. Oh, it was me who said that AEW needs luchador back. I tweeted the other day that they need to bring in La Toxica, but Taya is not necessarily a luchador because she's white. No shame. I like her though.
But yeah, I thought the Roderick Strong matches were the highlight of the tournament so far. But Samoa Joe and Penta was a good match as well.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in the chat, just put your D's up, your big D's or your C's. And Eddie, yes, Rouge Dad does still wrestles. He does run some indie promotions out there in Mexico, which is why Fabi got in trouble because she did a booking for him. CMLL and Papa Rouge is beefing hard. And Fabi has been kind of blackballed for that. So Tony, I can't ask because he don't want no bad reps with them like that. So he probably can't do anything about that. But yeah, now I did say that get La Toxica on AEW, but shit, y'all don't know how to act when y'all see Sky Blue and Jay on the screen. Y'all ain't gonna be talk about ass. But we gonna get into Rampage. Y'all wouldn't know how to act if all three of them showed up. So Rampage, I'm gonna just skim through Rampage, y'all. Rampage, of course, it was the Grand Slam World Title Eliminator quarterfinal match. It was Jay Lethal versus Penta, which caused Penta to win. That's how he ended up fighting Samoa Joe in Collision for the semifinal. And then, of course, you had Sammy Guevara. He came out to confront Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho ended up saying, "You want to
shirtless Chris Jericho?"
Shirtless. Yeah, that's right. He keep his shirt off. You know what I'm saying? It's too hot, so he take his shirt off. The ladies. So yes, Sammy and
he said, "I'm in my commentator clothes. It's just slacks. That's it. Those are his commentator clothes. A man in just slacks.
He's comfortable. He's a rock star." He's a rock star. So yes, you had Chris Jericho and Sammy was just like, y'all, we getting on each other's nerves, and maybe we'll just fight it out so we can get back friends. So it's set up for the match for a Grand Slam. Hold on, my handy dandy notebook, y'all. And then of course, Young Bucks had a match against Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. And then, of course, the main event, of course, the Young Bucks won that. I'm sorry. And then after that, it was the Grand Slam World Title Eliminator, which it was Samoa Joe versus Jeff Hardy.
Straight from TNA 2010.
And Samoa Joe ended up winning, which we ended up having Penta versus Samoa Joe on that Saturday on Collision, which we just discussed. La Toxica heads to Google. Yeah, La Toxica, if you're not familiar with them, luchadors, them, when I tell you some bad bees, there's some bad bees, okay?
But no, to me this is a real weak Rampage. Rampage has actually been kind of good in the last couple of weeks, especially for women business, which we'll get into in a minute. But I thought this was one of the weakest rampages that we've had in quite some time, to be honest.
No, it was not. No, it was.
To me, I'm saying to me, I didn't like any of these matches with the exception of the women's match. I thought Penta. I thought Jay Lethal was bad against Penta. I thought he was bad. I'm like, does Jay Lethal need to hang it up? And again, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, don't get me started. Like,
Yeah, Jeff Hardy tried. He did better though. It seemed like
the fact that we have to say he did better is still not, again. It's like the fact that you have to say it's not that bad means it is that bad. That's Jeff Hardy.
Oh my god. Yes.
Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, they're worse than the Guns in terms of like, yeah, they're just guys that get beat up.
No. They are better than the Guns. Are we talking?
I prefer the Guns over 2.0. Yeah.
Put Malik comment up real quick. Put Malik. Somebody DM me her video and they was like, Keeks, who is this? And I said, I think that's Lil Hydra. I want to say that is the one. I want to say that may be Penta's girlfriend, but I'm not totally sure. Don't make me say it because I'm not sure, but I feel like that's who he is with, which makes sense. Shout out to the Thick Committee. Well, we'll look toxic. Yeah, see, y'all don't know how to act. Y'all don't know how to. If Look Toxica popped up on AEW, y'all wouldn't know how to fucking act. Like, you talk about Britt Baker gonna be jealous. You think she was jealous?
Britt Baker's jealous. She's already jealous if you can hit a suplex without injuring someone or, botching it.
Look, Toxica gonna come in, they'll slap the fuck out of her, okay? Speaking of women, we're going to get into some women business time. Put the video up real quick.
This is what you need to do. You need to stay out of women business.
Women business time, y'all. Okay, so women business was actually pretty good this week. It was a lot that was happening this week on women business. When I was doing my notes, I was like, this is the longest women business has been for me. So Dynamite, of course, it was the TBS Championship Open Challenge match. It was Chris Statlander versus Emi Sakura. Great match. Emi did wonderful. Emi, this is her second time being booked on TV because, people was crying because she wasn't on All In. And now she's on Dynamite. So we're going to see how these demo charts do because, y'all was crying saying that she wasn't on there. So if the outrage is not matching the demos, I'm going to say some shit. Okay? So she was on there. She was working. Shout out to Chris the Stallion. She had on the different gear, the bikini looking gear she has on. Got the thighs out gear. Wait, it's a group. Yes, it's a group of them. But yeah, so that happened. Shout out to Chris. And then, of course, Renee did the backstage segment with Toni Storm, which is very popular right now. The Toni Storm character that she does, the crazy Marilyn Monroe type gimmick. She's losing control. She ended up throwing a shoe at Renee. She was just saying like, the can of spray paint. She just started kind of going crazy a little bit, spiraling, and threw the shoe at Renee.
I don't know what you mean by spray paint.
So she's doing an amazing character work. This is something different. So this is probably, like I said, this is probably making Toni Storm even more popular. And then on Rampage, we had the trios match. It was Britt Baker, Sheeta, and also Sky Blue versus Anna Jay, Taya. I love Taya. And the Bunny, welcome back the Bunny. She was injured and now she's back. I love me some Bunny. I don't care what nobody say. It's something about her. I just like her. Shout out to Anna Jay, the gear. Oh my God, bad bitches. I love me bad bees. I love bad bees. I love beautiful women. But Jungle Boy won with that. Jungle Boy won with Anna Jay. I'm gonna just say that. You put his woman against that man woman. He won. He won the competition. Okay, so Britt Baker ended up taking the pin, and then Sheeta was just looking at her like, I'm sick of this bitch. Why do you always gotta be the one to take the motherfucking pin, bitch? I'm better than you. I don't know, so it's gonna be something. I hope it's not a match. It's gonna be a match, of course, but I'm gonna keep it positive, okay? I'm gonna just keep it positive. I'm not gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna just keep it positive, okay? Maybe Britt Baker is finally kind of just, moving to the side. You raise your hand?
I'll wait till the end of the segment to say my thoughts on everything so far.
Okay, so then we moving on to Collision. The TBS Championship, another opening match. You know, Chris Statlander is gracious. She's grateful. And then, of course, she went against Robin Renegade. The Renegade Twins has been active on Collision as of lately. So go ahead and sign them because you need more women on the roster. And the Renegade Twins are very, very good, especially Robin. Before. So they are really good wrestlers. Once you get their character going, it don't even have to be like the Bella Twins because they can wrestle better than them. So just get them something to get it going. And of course, Chris Statlander took the win, but the Robin and her sister ended up attacking her. And then all of a sudden, you know, Miss Jade Cargill is back. You know, the bad bee is back. You
Summer
know,
vacation's over. She left in May, showed up in September. What's that say?
Not right now. Not. Jade Cargill is back, baby, and now I can't say y'all know on this show I've been criticizing Jade for her ring work. I have to see more, but what the little that I've seen, it was crisp, it was clean, and it was confident. So. Drip, please. A shout out to the gear and she looked amazing. So it looks like we're gonna get that Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill actual match. It might not be at Grand Slam, so don't be disappointed if it's not at Grand Slam. I feel like it will be in Full Gear. Okay, remember we still have Full Gear coming up too.
In LA, of course.
Yes, so I feel like it will be at Full Gear. Now, go ahead.
Well, you forgot one other thing on women's business.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, so that happened, and then of course the segment of Ruby Soho and Saraya. You know, they was just talking about Toni Storm. Now Saraya is supposed to be, you know, she has a match at Grand Slam against whoever wins the 4-way or whatever. I'm predicting it may be a Saraya versus Toni Storm. That's what I'm predicting. So that's probably what we're gonna get at Grand Slam. Go ahead and say what you gotta say. Raise your hand. Let me call on you first. Raise your hand. Do it. Okay, you're a man. Go ahead, man.
Well, I thought I liked Chris Statlander versus Emi Sakura. That was a really good match again. Chris Statlander can wrestle anyone, just like Orange Cassidy did. And she said that on Collision that she wants to be a fighting champion like her friend Orange Cassidy was. I like the Renegade Twins a lot. They've been killing it on Rampage and Collision the last 3 to 4 months. Like I said, I hope they get signed soon. I like them a lot. I think they have something to offer. It almost made sense that they were, I don't want to say they should have rebuilt the baddies with Jade Cargill, but like if the Renegades were paired up with like one other woman as a trio, I think that would make sense. Because they would kind of fit in that clique, that kind of group faction together. But Robin against Chris Statlander again was really good. Chris Statlander's just amazing in the ring, and she can wrestle anyone. I love the Toni Storm character. It's probably my favorite character that's on AEW right now. The old Hollywood starlet who's gone mad. She's either drinking too much or pills. Like you said, it's like something. Oh, darling, I don't know what's been going on. And just again, like they said, like she's half naked these days, and she's throwing shoes, and she can't remember what she's done or just refuses to acknowledge it. It's brilliant. To see her have a character now after being one of the best women in the ring for years, it just shows like she'll probably get that title back for a third time, hopefully at the end of this year or at the start of next year. Because her and Jamie Hayter, don't forget when Jamie Hayter comes back, they got to run that properly because Jamie Hayter was injured. We need a real Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter match.
We don't know when Thunder's coming back though.
No, I know.
Coming.
Yeah. what else? I like the trios match again. Rampage, for all the people shit on like AEW doesn't respect their women. The women have main evented Rampage almost every Friday during the summer, and for 6-7 minute matches compared to what you see on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. So if you want to add up those numbers, which is Rampage was the main event women's slot for women compared to SmackDown, don't be doing that. Like, don't say that Tony Khan doesn't care about women's wrestling. I'm not saying that as a dig to someone, but like, he is trying. You've seen, like, he is trying. Like, he hasn't done on the pay-per-views. That's something he needs to step up with. But on his TV, he's giving them prime slots. And if people are like, well, it's Rampage, why am I going to watch them on Rampage? It shows you're not, like you always say, you're not showing your support. You're not matching it. If you want to see women wrestle on AEW, you have to watch Rampage. You have to watch Collision. You have to watch every show that they're on. So, and hopefully they'll have more pay-per-view matches like they did when Lyric rightfully called him out. Because you see it the next Sunday, All Out, he's like, we got a trios match during the pre-show here. Don't get mad at me. So Tony Khan is very receptive to his audience.
Shout out to Lyric.
Yeah, shout out to
Lyric.
Because that was amazing. So the Saraya Ruiz thing, like, it's gearing up. This 4-way is just a formality. Tony Storm's going to beat Britt Baker. She's going to beat Nyla Rose. Good for Nyla Rose though, to be in the fatal 4-way. Again, good look for her, considering, like you said, the last couple months that she's unfortunately been a victim of booking, not Tony Khan's booking, State's booking. Good to see her back though, because she's had some good matches with Statlander this year and other things. But the Chris Statlander, Jade Cargill thing. So again, she hit her moves really well. I agree. No botches.
Here you go.
It's the same moves that she could already hit before.
Oh my God. Okay, but it's the same ones.
To say
it's the same ones.
No. To say again, for you to say like Ricky Starks, show me something. Jade Cargill, show me something now. Show me something, because everyone I said, and I'm not saying to put a dig at her, because I do agree. I've said it to you. I think she's someone who has bigger ambitions than wrestling, rightfully so. Which is why she took a whole summer off. She left in May. She showed up in September. What does that say? Summer vacation. I don't think she was putting time in the gym. We saw her. She was at red carpets. She was at events. She was at galas. This and that. She could have been doing the NBA thing. We're like, when you really do the work, when the cameras aren't on, that's when you really in the gym putting up the shots, running the drills, when no one's looking. I know I'm saying, like, I don't want this bullshit. She's been working with it. She's been working. That's what I'm saying. She hit an amazing choke slam for months. And I'm like, what else can you do? Not in a negative way, but like, you can do other moves. Don't give me the same like things that she would do. Cause like, she's a great power woman wrestler. And there's not a lot of those around these days, at least in America, I'm saying, on American big TV. But I'm tired of she's been training with Danielson. We watch Winning Time. If you're a great player, you can't be a great coach. If you're a okay player, you can be a great coach. So for them to be like, Bryan Danielson's been teaching Jade Cargill, that ain't how it works.
Did you just call Bryan Danielson Jerry West?
Yes. What did Jerry West say? He's like, they can't be me, and I can't be them. Like, that's Bryan Danielson.
This nigga is hilarious, man. Yeah. Can't write drip back, y'all.
What did he say? No, I ain't coaching. Fuck no.
He said, I ain't doing that shit. Ain't gonna blame that shit on me.
Right. Nope, not me. Nope. And other good news, though, and women.
Tony Khan went to like, please, can you train her? Please. He's like, she's 6 foot. She can't technical wrestle like I can. Like, and that's not a knock on her. Like, she just learned 2 years. How's she supposed to learn 15 years of graps from Danielson?
All the best trainers wasn't really the dope wrestlers like that, bro. You feel me? Like,
Shawn Michaels said it himself. Like, people try to give me credit for training you. I taught you the basics. Then you traveled all over the world and learned better. Like, Shawn Michaels said that to Danielson on TV. He's like, I taught you how to run the ropes, how to fall. That's it. And everyone's like, Shawn Michaels top Bryan Danielson. And he's like, no, I opened up a school, then I closed the school.
That's like my goal. He's like, I know how to help you reinvent, but I'm not gonna teach you this. Now
exactly that. No, I said that she needs to be. I said that on where I used to be before. She needs to be Mike Awesome. Like, pick these people up, slaying them. Don't try to There was that one match where she did some like technical wrestling transitions, and I was like, holy fucking shit. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like,
you talking about when she was with Athena?
It might have been that match, or there was one match where like she went from like a submission hold to another one, and I was like,
oh, that was against Sky Blue.
What? Sky Blue, she had the reversal, but I'm saying like it might have been the Athena match where she had someone locked in a submission and transitioned to another one.
I think Athena had taught her that.
But I am still happy to see her back because she's still someone who has star appeal. Again, I don't want to say it's because of her looks, but looks matter in wrestling. That's why Roman Reigns is champion. So don't say you're going to tell me that. Am I wrong?
You said that's why Roman Reigns is champion. What about Pride? No, okay. Now I was going to say also on women business, I forgot to add it on my notes, but they did report that Red Velvet, she's doing great on her recovery, so she should be coming back soon. I don't know if she's going to be on Dynamite or Collision, but more women coming back. So we don't know when Thunder Rosa coming back. I feel like Thunder Rosa going to come back and they going to make Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker have a match. They need to.
Thunder Rosa is like Ben Simmons. That back is cooked. She can't.
Okay.
She can't.
That's fighting words now. That's fighting words. Don't do my thumb.
But no, I've given Jade Cargill a lot of leeway. She would, just like I did with Ricky Starks, and I'll say the same thing. Jade Cargill, year one, was impressive. Year two, there was a regression. I think she became complacent. I don't think she tried as hard. And they gave her a lot of better opponents. And like you said, the reason they don't give her the bigger opponents is it will show the discrepancy between the talent. And I've always said, I don't think she puts as much in as she thinks she wants out. As much as she thinks she wants to be this top wrestler, you got to put the work in. And when you see it, it's like social media allows us to see what people want to see, but I don't see someone who wants to be a pro wrestler for, the rest of their lives or the rest, the next 10 years. I don't see that from her. But she comes out. No, but she comes out, she gets a reaction. It was a real big surprise. And I was like, holy shit. And her and Chris Statlander, again, if there's anyone to make it, because her and Taya Valkyrie had a really good match at Double or Nothing before Chris Statlander returned. Let's not forget that. Jade Cargill looked impressive in that match with Taya Valkyrie, and then Chris Statlander. True, but the match they had before that was kind of eh. So I don't know what it was in the second match that Jade stepped it up, but the Chris Statlander return overshadowed it. And I definitely think Jade Cargill is someone who listens to the criticism that Chris Statlander has been a fighting champion, has already surpassed what Jade did in 2 years as champ, in 4 months as champ, by having these matches on TV every week. But if you want to be the star, you have to do the work. It's as simple as that.
Y'all, Jade don't hold back, y'all. Y'all know he don't hold back.
I hope she realized, like, while she's away, like, if I want to do it, I want to do it. Because she's the star they need. Like you said, like, they need a star, someone who can cross over to the mainstream. I don't think she does it as much as she thinks she has.
You're right.
But she can. That's their marketing has to do better. Because again, like the part I skipped over with the women's trio matches, they are trying to do with Britt Baker what they did with Cody in 2021. Pair him with the people who you like, so they can matter. Britt Baker's next to Hikaru Shida because everyone loves Hikaru Shida. She's paired next to Sky Blue because everyone loves Sky Blue. And they're going to run that Shida-Britt Baker match when Shida's going to have to carry her to that match because Britt Baker still can't wrestle after all these years. And it's the Cody Rhodes thing of like, you're this star in the people that matter, the office people's eyes, but the fans' eyes when it comes to the real wrestling, you aren't. And you're trying to win them over by like pairing me next to the person. Cody tagged with Pac The fans booed him, tagged out. Pat came in and they cheered. That's going to be Britt Baker at this rate. But again, because people love to chant, they love to do the DMD shit because wrestling fans love a chant. It's always, again, she'll always matter because people love to chant. But the last straw of women business was, it's the part that you didn't talk about. So CJ Perry cuts a promo and she says so much bullshit, I couldn't believe it. And she was acting. She thought this was her moment. After all these years of being sidelined, she thought, like, I am going to show the world. And she talked with her real voice, too, which I was just like, that annoyed me even more because I'm like, oh, you're really going for this Oscar. Like, God damn. And she said, she either said she was the coldest or the coolest manager in the game. And I was like, to who? As a manager, she offered nothing. Rusev, like that was all she would do. Crush, and like she wore short pantsuits. She offered nothing as a manager. Aiden English sang Rusev Day, and that was more over than anything she ever did as a manager.
Drew.
Oh, God. Why did they bring her in? You want to talk about someone who's pissed me? This Miro shit has pissed me off for far too long. He didn't want to come back last year. And now he brings his wife with him. Like, I never thought he was worth the praise people gave him.
Okay. We stop. Don't start.
Good in the ring, terrible everywhere else. Character, always bad. Mike skills, him as the Redeemer was okay. The way they cut and filmed those promos, they were okay. But now he brought his wife into it because she has this fantasy with Hobbs now. Like, come on.
Okay.
It's the same playbook that Paul Heyman is running.
Oh, my God. Okay, we got to move on because I got to get into the other things. Thank you. He said it. I was thinking it, but he said it, y'all. I was thinking it.
But they posted this video of her on Instagram, and I'm like, this looks like a scene. They showed her getting dressed, and I'm like, is this AEW or,
or what?
I'm not going to say it. I already went check out.
If you a child and you watching this, I'm sorry. This is for adults only.
Your child's right next to you. What do you mean? Come on.
No, they laying down. They laying down. Okay, so women business of the week, of course, it goes to Chris Statlander because she worked her ass off on Dynamite. She worked her ass off on Collision. Again, for the third time in a row, is Chris Statlander more than a woman. Women business of the week. That's my TBS champion. That's my girl. And I'm glad that she's back with the knee braces and stuff. Chris the Stallion. That's the Stallion, okay?
You want to see her do bongos?
Yes. Yes,
her and Jade Cargill?
Yes, I do. Yeah, actually.
Like Chappelle said, 2 women kissing, touching.
Yes, I do. So, next up, of course, Grand Slam is September 20th at Arthur Ashe. The matches so far that's been announced, MJF versus either Roderick Strong or Samoa Joe. We already know it's Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Saraya versus most likely Toni Storm. And Claudio versus Eddie Kingston, which it is winner takes all. Of course, some more matches will be announced soon for Grand Slam. Grand Slam is next week up there in New York. New York, the sports guys ain't been in y'all favor. So hopefully wrestling will help shift it back.
Fuck New Yorkers. Grandma, I'm bringing back East versus West. Are you with me?
No.
Leave him alone. That's my man. Thank you to my man.
Nah, but if I gotta be with you, I'm with you though. I ain't gonna hold you.
Aaron Rodgers was East and he went to the West and went to the East. See?
Now look at him.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they announced today, well, not today, but recently, Bryan Danielson, it is his last year. And I feel like he is going to take that executive role in AEW. He's probably going to take the role that Cody had. Which rightfully so, it should be in the right direction because he's going to be more so on Collision. And I feel like he may be the creative over there. Tony Khan has also expressed, like, if anything happened to him, leave it to Bryan Danielson. He done said that to his daddy. So I feel like they have that in writing type shit. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Who do you think is more upset about him retiring, the fans or his wife? Because that means he'll be home all the time, and he only wants one thing when he's home.
Start that.
You said it to me.
Don't start that. Don't start that. Why is you starting that?
Because his daughter was the one who said, like, you should retire, and that means, well, I guess you'll be having more brothers and sisters. Like,
yeah, his wife's like, God damn it. If you never looked at the Bella show, it's so funny. The only, well, it's not an issue, but with the Danielson family, he's very, 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 we all adults. He's very, very, very horny. Okay. Like,
he's a sex machine.
Yeah. So, like, as soon as he be getting off the plane and she be like, Danielson.
I can relate. But no, I agree. Danielson retiring, it's a shame. But he's done great work as a producer in the past. You can see kind of his imprint on AEW as a producer, and I think he'll have something to offer in that capacity. So
he don't look like he would. Yes, like it was an episode. Like they literally had an episode, and he was just like, "I'm home. Get a nanny. I need some." And she was like, "Oh my fucking God! Like I can't. Not right now." So yes, Danielson is. She be like, "We have."
Oh, and shout out to dude who said, lady, get out the way. I'm trying to watch Danielson wrestle." You know, shout out to him. Because he won't be able to say that much longer.
No. That's how, no, ain't no way in hell. Ladies, if your man denying you from some sex to look at some wrestling, cheat on him. Just cheat on him. You better cheat on him. Cheat on him. But then Natalia came out there with that damn lingerie with that big ass back and no ass. So he probably was just like, God damn.
With the Britney Spears.
That's hilarious.
Wow. Don't talk about my Britney Spears. I sexy dance in the house just like Britney Spears. Wow, don't talk about Britney. She gave me Toxic. And then can't you see I'm calling. She gave me some hits. Leave Britney Spears alone, y'all. Stop all of that. She built like Chris Jericho. That made me mad. Black Twitter said that she was built
she in her next video, she's doing the break the walls down. Like, come on, Britney.
That's not funny. That's not.
She gonna put those dudes in the lion tamer? Ask him.
Who said that?
Ask him.
Y'all, Black Twitter. Y'all not on Black Twitter. Y'all be on wrestling Twitter. Black Twitter, the dude, I can't think of his Twitter name, but he said, damn, she built like Chris Jericho. And it went viral.
And Chris Jericho, that's when Chris Jericho started taking off his shirt. Like, see, I ain't built like this, bitch. Like, look at me. Look at me.
Stop saying that I'm built like her. Oh, y'all, fun fact. I didn't know this until I read on it. I know we talk about Chris Jericho wife because she was at the Capitol, but they used to be
Disco Inferno's.
That was Disco Inferno girlfriend, and Jericho took her from him. Like, Jericho was in the middle of performing, and he seen her with Disco Inferno, and he went down there and just took her. And they've been married ever since. That's crazy.
But like I say, if she was yours, then why is she here?
Wow. Drip, y'all. Drip's back. Okay, so let me move on, y'all, because it's getting late. It's getting late. Okay, so y'all know November 6th, I am announcing, y'all know my AEW, my Keeks AEW Awards is coming up in December the 18th, but on the 6th, I'm having my nomination special show, you know what I'm saying, where I'm announcing who is going to be nominated and stuff. This is the second annual. I've done it the first annual, but I didn't do it like this, so I'm doing it differently, but it's still going to be the same. This is the AEW for the AEW culture fans. This is for the culture, the AEW fan base culture. So make sure you, like I promoted it already. Of course, I'm gonna keep on reminding y'all asses. Can we? No, y'all cannot. I don't trust y'all like that. I love y'all, but I don't trust y'all because y'all in the FTR was nuts. Miss Irvin was for the streets. Shit. It's Disco Inferno. She was probably getting bored. She was probably getting bored.
And now she's getting cheated on.
Yeah, rightfully so. But so yeah.
Wow, condoning cheating. I see. Okay.
That's my goal. That's my
Carry
goal.
on.
But yeah, so the second annual AEW Keeks AEW Awards is December 18th, but the nomination special show is November 6th. Y'all know that's the week of my birthday. So I had to do it that week because you know I'm gonna be on vacay. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be I'm excited for this. I'm gonna do something different. Black women is going to be a part of this journey. I cannot wait. All the ladies said yes to me. I can't wait for y'all to see what's going on. I didn't do this by myself. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait to bring these ladies on along with me. Of course, Public Enemies and stuff like that. So this is going to be an amazing fun time for all the AEW fans. It's just to show how much that I observe AEW. I take what I do seriously. So, it's just to give back and just show you how much I really do pay attention because, Black women, especially in content, we are, people don't take us as seriously unless we're paired up with somebody that seriously or, and just to keep it politically correct, I'm the only one that's doing some shit like this as a Black woman in content. You know what I'm saying? So support me and support Public Enemies for making this shit happen. You know what I'm saying? Because they doing it. They allow me to do it. So that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like this. So first things first, the timeline. This is what I want to tell y'all. The timeline has always been, it was September of 2022, which is September 3rd, 2022 versus September 3rd of 2023, because, as Tony Khan has always said since 2020 that the full gear, not full gear, but all out is usually the ending of the storylines and also the beginning of certain things. So I use that time frame with my nominations, okay? So I've been paying attention. Y'all know I'll be on my P's and Q's and stuff like that. So y'all gonna enjoy the nomination special, and also the awards. And I'm gonna pop it off today by letting you know who we celebrating for the second annual. Y'all know last year the All Elite Keeks, the AEW Lifetime Achievement Award was to Billy Gunn last year. This year, I am happy to announce, as y'all can see, I've been in character with it. But this year, the All Elite with Keeks Lifetime Achievement Award recipient goes to Mr. Bree Who himself, Jeff Jarrett. We're going to celebrate Jeff Jarrett. We're going to give him his flowers. He does. What you shaking? Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett gets the All Elite Keeks AEW Lifetime Achievement Award. I am so proud. Look at how she came in just in time too. I am so grateful. I want to say that Hearts is going to be a part of this with me. Y'all know that Hearts from Talk of Champions, she is one of the biggest Jeff Jarrett fans, and I'm having her along with me to this on this ride. Jeff Jarrett, he deserves his flowers. We have to give people their flowers while they are still living. That's why I got the fucking hat on, you know what I'm saying? Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett, he deserves his flowers. So this year we're going to give it to Jeff Jarrett. I'm going to give it to Jeff Jarrett. So on December 18th, and also just be on the lookout for the post because Hearts is going to be over it. I chose her to do it. She's perfect to do it. A fellow Black woman. And we're going to get this party started. You know what I'm saying? So give it up to Jeff Jarrett. Look at all the haters. Look at who is this hater, Grim? Ken and Drip is the only two. Like, y'all just like, what the fuck? Say nice things. Yes, keep your job, Jared. Yeah. Say nice things, Drip. What is a memorable Jeff Jarrett moment for you?
I don't have one.
Okay.
Again, Jeff Jarrett in AEW I'm shocked he's still there in a wrestling capacity. I know he was there to be behind the scenes, but I'm still shocked he's wrestling the way he's been wrestling on TV.
And what else?
That's it. He doesn't have that many highlights to me, and I really haven't enjoyed his matches. I'm still shocked he had an international title shot against Orange Cassidy. Yeah, to me, I mean,
he took a buckshot Larian better than most. What is you saying? He took a buckshot Larian better than CM Punk.
I hated that day so much because I was like, why is he here? Why
did
he come to ruin my...
The N and the H want to know what's your sign.
Mine?
Yeah.
I'm a Pisces.
Why you want to know what's the sign?
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. I'm just asking. That's why I got on the hat. That's why I got on the Jeff Jarrett type hat. Bree Who. But yes, Jeff Jarrett is getting his flowers this year. We're going to do it big. You know what I'm saying? Billy Gunn was last year. This year is Jeff Jarrett. You know, life is short. We have to, you know, he received his Hall of Fame, but, you know, WWE didn't do that shit right because, you know, it was popular to say that Jeff Jarrett wasn't all of that, but he was. He was, y'all. Just his demeanor. Oh, because he's mean.
If only you knew what she says behind the scenes. So let me... what did CM Punk say? You want to know why we do this whole bullying campaign? Before they cut his mic. Let me tell you a story about Vince McMahon.
Oh, don't start there. I'm wholesome. I say good things.
She said he 40.
Lyric said I'm a Pisces and I'm not mean. It's the men Pisces has always been the mean one. The women Pisces are nice. I'm a Scorpio though. We're both water signs. Nia Jax's return.
Graham, did you hear that?
Yeah, so we're gonna celebrate Bree Hoo for the hoes. Jeff Jarrett is the Keeks Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. We're gonna have some wonderful, wonderful Black women in content, especially Black women as writers, a part of this. And like I've already announced, Miss Hart is going to do she's going to do her thing with the Jeff Jarrett for me. So be on the lookout for that. It's All Elite with Keeks second annual AEW Awards is going to be a thing. It's going to be lit. 23 nominations this year. It's going to be 23. This is the AEW BET Awards, okay? My long booty queen. What? Who got a long booty? Long booty, okay. He said I'm acting like drip now. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Any announcements, my man? Thank you, so my man.
No, just keep tuning in to your show every week. You've had some great guests on. Like I said, Danny, Lyric, Mika. Unfortunately, you've had Banks on in the past. That's always a shame. Again, shout out to Public Enemies. They're killing it every week, every Wednesday, right after Dynamite. Again, so when you watch Dynamite, come over here, watch Public Enemies. Yeah, again, I ain't got much to promote these days. I'm just me. So, yeah. You don't need to be following me anywhere and all that. So, I'm a private person now.
You can follow him. Follow him on Davis and Drip. Hold on, that's your. Wait a minute, because I feel like you. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get y'all the right handle because he needs some followers. He needs some. Y'all tell Drip he needs to be on my show regularly. He act like he don't want to do it no more. Make sure y'all follow Davis, aka Drip, on Twitter. Okay, follow him on Twitter. He'll tweet like 3 times a day. 3 or probably 4 times, but make sure y'all follow him on Twitter.
But when I do, I I am very Kenish. Yeah. But no, I enjoyed being back. Like I said, it's the first time in a while. Collision didn't exist the last time I was here, so that's crazy considering. Again, CM Punk came back. CM Punk's gone. And when I do tweet, I'll tweet about CM Punk, and then people will say I'm wrong.
See, once a week. Don't worry, y'all. I will try to convince him to come back some more. I will do my best. I pulled his ear this time. I'll do some more convincing because he has to come on my birthday, so I'll convince him some more. So we. All right, so be sure to tune in. Like I said, the nomination special is coming up. I'll be here next week. I'm going to do the Grand Slam review with another Black woman in content, Funky Diva. She's very talented with her art. She's going to join me next week. So make sure you follow her and make sure you tune in next week. But here my Getaway Music Grand. We late, so let's get on out here.
You've mentioned a couple names recently. Who were they?
Listen, man. They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans.